What's up, YouTube? This is Ashley from Ashley's Opinion. Thank you for joining my channel. Today we're going to review Never Ever Met, Season 1, Episode 4. Okay, so the show opens up with the men getting their workout on. We see Brandon in his confessional. He says that it's been a long week in the house. He says that things has changed between him and Sienna. He feels like he can't win no matter what he do, because y'all all know that Sienna, whenever she has a problem with Brandon, um, she tries to ask him questions, but at the same time, she don't let him get a word in. Okay, so they show Josh laying on the couch sleeping while Shay is playing with his ear hairs. Okay. So Millie and Greg is getting dressed. Greg says that his life, as a man, he's becoming the man in the mirror. He says a couple years ago that would have been hard for him to look at. So Millie tells him that she's glad that he's being honest with himself, and that he could accept. Now was the time that he could accept who he is. So Greg tells Millie that she will be the one by his side, during his growth. Okay. So Millie says in her confessional, um, that her and Greg have amazing chemistry. Besides the awkward kiss, so the awkward kiss that they had in the pool. So now Millie and Greg is cuddled up on the bed, and Millie says that she's telling Greg that the kiss in the pool, and the jacuzzi didn't make sense at that moment, and would like for things to happen on her terms. Then Millie tells Greg that she feel relaxed and calm around him because he have good intentions for her. So she tells Greg that the kiss in the jacuzzi kind of felt forced. It did look forced. But Greg reassured her that he don't want her to think that he's rushing things. So Millie tells Greg that her goal is to leave there with him. Greg basically tells her that he's on the same page, and they're going to finish how they started. So they started off online on good terms, and they want to end this experience with each other, meeting in person. They're gonna leave, finish what they started. They're gonna leave together. So now you see Diamond. Diamond is downstairs talking to Millie, telling her that she wants to talk to Sandia about how she feels about Chris and Joanna looking like they're more of a couple than her and Chris. Um, so Diamond said that Sandia seems frustrated. This is what she said in her confessional. Said that Sandia looks frustrated with the interaction between Joanna and Chris, and said that if that was her, that wouldn't be going on. Uh, okay, so Diamond, I like Diamond, but she has her own relationships. Diamond, you have your own relationship that's not perfect. I feel like she needs to worry about that man Aaron proposing to another woman and posting it on Facebook. Like, worry about your own relationship. I get it. You want to make sure that the girls in the house is okay and protect them, but you have your own problems. Okay, so Sandia, Millie, and Diamond go outside. Millie asks Sandia, um, have she know have what have she been noticing? And Sandia says she sees Joanna all in Chris' face. Millie tells Sandia that no one should be kikiing, hee all in your dude's face. Millie feels that this experience is for each person to get to know the person they came with, and not be in another woman's man's face, which is true. Like, get to know your partner and not be in somebody else's face. So Diamond asks Sandia, do she want them to say anything to Joanna because they're on her side. Sandia says she wants to talk to Chris first. Diamond says she want to make sure before they all gang up on Joanna because she knows how Joanna will pop off, and then they all gonna be popping off like it's gonna be a whole mess. So Chris and Sandia is in the kitchen at the kitchen table eating, and Chris asks her what did the girls want to talk to her about. She said the same thing that I was talking to you about, the Jody situation, the Joanna situation. Chris is telling Sandia that she's over exaggerating and is so stupid. Chris feels like the other women are putting things in Sandia's head, saying he's probably not a good guy. He probably would cheat on you. Well, Chris, you were the one who claims, you get a lot of women and you leave them hanging for weeks. Make it make sense, sir. So Sandia tells Chris that he's always bringing people down. He said, "Who I bring down?" She said, "Me." Um, he says, "I'm not bringing you down. You're just jealous." He claims if Sandia was to put her hands on another man's shoulder, that wouldn't bother him, and he wouldn't think that that's flirting. Okay, Chris, you're not listening to Sandia. He's not listening. Sandia is telling you that she's not comfortable with the interaction that you have, with Jody. But you're trying to justify your actions. Listen to your woman. She's not comfortable. You have to compromise. You have to figure out how to make her comfortable in a situation. I get it that you feel that you and Joanna are friends, but you have to figure out a way to make your woman or the person that you potentially are dating, make her comfortable in that situation. She's coming to you, opening up to you. Okay, so Chris then calls Joanna over. He tells Sandia that she's being annoying with being jealous for no reason. So Joanna and Aaron J comes to the table, and Chris asks Joanna, "Have he ever tried to flirt with her?" Joanna like, "No, no, no, no." Like, y'all might have not been flirting, but it looks like that, it appears like that. So the woman on his side may be looking side eye. Chris like, I feel like I'm in a room full of a bunch of kids. So Aaron J gets in his confessional, which is Joanna's guy, getting his confessional saying that their interactions with each other is just friendly. Okay, Aaron, you be looking crazy too when they be interacting. You be sitting there side eyeing them too as well. So I know you feel uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable just watching it on the other side of the screen. Sandia tells Joanna that she's making her feel uncomfortable with the interaction with her and Chris. Joanna said that she thinks Joanna. This is what Joanna telling Sandia. She said that she thinks people is putting stuff in Sandia's head, and said that she's not a messy person. Okay, so there was, while she's trying to explain to her this, there was no apology to Sandia from Joanna when she learned that Sandia is uncomfortable with the situation. How about, okay, she telling you you're making me uncomfortable. How about tell her that, okay, you know what? I'm sorry that I'm making you uncomfortable. Talking to your guy in a certain way. I'm a pull back. You know what I'm saying? And leave it at that. Chris then tells Joanna that he thinks the other girls don't like her. Joanna like, oh, I know they don't. So Chris, here you go defending Another woman. Where's the defense for your girl who's telling you she's uncomfortable? Where's her defense? So Tyrana comes in. She comes in the house. She picks something off the counter talking about is these panties. Like, girl, if those was panties, why are you picking them up with your hands? That was nasty. Okay, so she calls Greg and Millie to follow her. So Tyrana is doing a check in with the couples after the flower fight with Brandon and Sienna, and she asks Millie and Greg how are they doing. Millie and Greg explain that they doing good, getting to know each other. Millie says that the more she gets to know Greg, she has to reveal things about her past. So Tyrana then asks them, like what guests do they have coming? Millie says she's bringing her sister Sophia. Greg says his mom is coming. Greg says that his sisters don't get to meet the woman in his life if he's not serious. He says he's serious, and he is here. Tyrana then asks Millie if she's here. Millie says she's here, but it's written all over her face that she's really not. Like, Millie has like this clocked out look on her face. So they show all the men in the room. Chris asks them, how do they feel about the interaction between him and Joanna? Aaron H chimed in and said it appears that they have something going on. Chris tries to say that all he says that said he that they just homies. You know what I'm saying? Aaron H says that if another guy was to was to be all up in Diamond's face, he would think the dude wanted her. Greg then tells Chris, "Look, if your girl is checking you, put your foot on the gas. Even if you're just friends, put your foot on the gas and listen to what your girl has to say. Nip it in the bud now. Nip it in the bud." And I agree, nip it in the bud. Figure out a way to make her feel comfortable. Chris then says he feels that's insecure. That's an insecure trait, and feels that if he lets someone get away with so many insecurities, it's only gonna become controlling. Remember that, controlling. Aaron J speaks up for Chris, saying that Chris is outspoken. He's outspoken. If he wanted Joanna, it would have been came out by now. Aaron, you please tell me that you don't. Why you don't feel uncomfortable? Please tell me why you don't feel uncomfortable about Chris and Joanna's interaction. Joanna is always laughing at the littlest thing Chris says, gives him more compliments than she give you, but she calls you a child in front of everybody. Why are you defending both of their interactions? You should be questioning your girl, the one that's supposed to be your girl. But I guess. So Chris feels like the other girls twisted a story about him and Joanna. He says the only person that was on his side was Joanna when they all had a conversation one night talking about trust and having relations. Diamond asked Chris how long before he started having relations. Chris said he's trying to smash on the first date. You see Joanna saying if a woman is more like men, women wouldn't be in their feelings because she's going to smash on the first date too. So her and Chris yeah, shaking hands, agreeing with each other. Everybody sitting around side-eyeing them too because they're agreeing with each other. Chris feels that, Joanna became the enemy because she's the one that's different. Chris, do you hear yourself? You are defending another woman about your awkward interaction, but not taking your girl's feelings into consideration. You don't see how that look? You're justifying your newly friendship over your newly relationship with your girl. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so now it's Brandon and Sienna's turn to sit down with Taronda, and she asked them how they doing. They said they going through the motion. It's toxic. That's all they need to say. It's toxic. Two words. It's toxic. Sienna says that every time they move forward with being romantic, things starts to get shaky. Girl, things are starting to get shaky because you are crazy. You crazy, girl. It's because of you. So Tyrana asks, do they think their relationship feels forced? Sienna thinks they need more time of smooth sailing because the waters are choppy. Girl, you need you need to get on that boat by yourself and sail away because you is the problem. Get on that boat and sail away by yourself because you're the one causing the problem. So Tyronda asks Brandon, do he think there's a connection with Sienna? He says there's something there, but there's things that turns him off. He says the listening is what turns him off. Sienna doesn't let him get a word in. Sienna then tells Brandon that she thinks he's full of shit. The look on Tyronda's face was like, oh, no, she didn't. Tyranda, now you see what we seeing. The girl is crazy. Sienna says that Brandon criticizes her for the same things. She asks him for small things, and he blows them up bigger than what it is. And she says she's demanding. Tyrana says no, it's not demanding. It's your delivery because I'm witnessing it, which is true. Like, girl. Sienna then says that she's been independent her whole life. Tyrana tells Brandon that she doesn't know how to step out of her masculinity. Tyrana then tells her that tells Sienna that she comes from the same environment where she has to defend herself. She tells Sienna that Brandon is not out to get you, girl. He's not out to get you. Um. So yeah, she tells Sienna that Brandon is not out to get her, and that she needs to work on that. She needs to work on herself, or she's going to destroy everything around her. And that is true. No one is going to want to put up with all the lashing out and talking down on them, and bringing up things that he explained to you why things happen in his life. Okay, so Tyranda asked them, do they think their relationship is worth saving? Brandon says no, not romantically. Uh, Not even friendship for me. I'm sorry, that girl's crazy. Sienna was looking slow after that. After his response, like, well, I tried to work, but if he don't want to, okay. Okay, so Brandon is back at the house with the guys. He explains, he's explaining to them the conversation with Tyranda. How the conversation went with Tyranda. And they all like, that's the most Brandon has been able to talk. Josh then tells Brandon that he appreciates Brandon for not going back and forth with Sienna. Yeah, that's true. Don't go back and forth with her. Brandon is the type of person who's not into confrontation. So he's just like, okay, I'm gonna let you say what you gotta say, and I'm gonna walk away. You have your moment, and I'm gonna have my moment, and I'm gonna walk away. And that's the best. That's the best thing that a man could do is just walk away, because if it get physical, it's a whole problem. So now it's Joanna and Aaron J's turn to sit down with Mama T. She asks them, how's it going? Joanna tells her that she doesn't like the rumors that's going on around the house about her and Chris' interaction. Taronda like, well, is there something going on? She says no. Taronda then asks Aaron J, do he see anything out of the ordinary with with Joanna and Chris? He says no. He says he has female friends, and he think male and female can have a platonic relationship. Tyranna's face looking like, yeah, no. I mean, in my opinion, I think male and females can have a platonic relationship, but when you're overtly being in somebody's face, that doesn't shows that you just want to be friends. You get what I'm saying? Just like, um, what's the other girl name that got kicked off? Like, she was doing a hoochie daddy short. She was overly doing it. I get it. She was teasing him about his shorts, which could have been friendly, but on the other end, looking, it's like you doing too much. Like, leave the man alone in his shorts. So it would look like you flirting with him. So in this situation, I feel men and women can be friends, but there's a certain way that you have to present yourself for that man, to that man and that woman, that shows like, look, no, we're just friends. Especially, and then the other guy, the guy that's supposed to be your friend, he's defending his friend more than he's defending his woman. I wouldn't want you to defend me as your friend before you defend your woman. Defend your woman. Me and you can figure out how we can keep our friendship without making your woman feel uncomfortable. So Tyrana tells them they remind her of her and her male best friend. Um, she like, we sleep in separate bedrooms. She asked them, do they think they have a connection? Both of them look like a deer caught in the head, a deer caught in the headlights when she asked them that question. They both said, I think so. I think so. Aaron J feels they need more dates to make a stronger connection. Joanna says she's a little slower when it comes to forming an intimate connection. She says it feels different now that they're in person, and now they need to figure out the intimate connection. I kind of feel I kind of find that hard to believe, because she's a sex coach. She should know when she has an intimate connection with someone. Just admit it. You don't have an intimate connection with this guy. I think these two, um, they don't have a relation. I mean, like a romantic connection. I think they both just trying to stay for the money. To be honest with you, because how do you think you have a connection, and we don't see you guys connecting? Okay, so now we see Millie's sister Sophia come in. They sit down. Her sister tells her that she wants Millie to be happy. Millie says that she's scared and she thinks everyone will walk out of her life. We then learn that Millie has been raped. Her sister tells her life isn't a bed of roses. She's going to find someone that's going to stick with her through the rough times, which is true. Find someone that's going to stick with you through the rough times. It's not all roses. Life is not like it's not like roses, like she said. They ain't always sweet. So find you someone that's gonna still be there with you when things get hard and not just run away. Because that's what a lot of people like to do. When things get hard, they run away instead of trying to figure it out and fix it. Millie is going on a rant saying how is she's going to how she's going to be great for anyone. She feels she should do some more soul searching. I think she should, considering the situation that she's been in. She's traumatized. I think she should do more soul searching. Millie seems like a great girl, but she's been through some things where she needs to sit down and talk to somebody and heal first. That awkward kiss that she had in the pool in the jacuzzi with Greg, it was for a reason. She wasn't comfortable because of the situation that she's been through. And I empathize with her, and I'm sorry that she's been through that. But yes, do some soul searching. Sophia says, she wants to talk to Greg. So she sits down with Greg, she asks him what do he like about Millie. Greg says that Millie is not a pushover and she's passionate, which she should. She's not a pushover. She shouldn't allow no one to push over her. Greg asks Sophia what are some things he should be aware of that's going to gain him full access to Millie. Sophia says, show her that you're listening to her. And that's really all for every woman. Show me that you're listening to me. Unlike Chris, he ain't listening to what Millie has to say. Show me that you're listening to me. Greg says that he's ready to stop playing games and feels that Millie brings the best out of him. Sophia tells Millie that her and Greg have the same goals. Then that's when Millie came back into the room like, what y'all talking about? Or whatever. She tells her that her and Greg has the same goals. And and they can work it out and they can figure it out. Then Greg's mom walk in. His mom, Kristen, she walks in. Greg introduced mom to Millie and her sister. Greg tells mom that they have some things in common, like parents being divorced. Millie challenges him to be a better man. Mom tells Greg that she's proud of the man that he's grown into because he used to feel that women in his relationship should bring everything to the table. So she appreciated him for the change, for changing. Okay, so now they pan over to Josh and Shay. They in the boom boom room again. Shay is getting a foot rub. Shay says, she's not interested in what the other couples got going on, and she's just there to focus on her own relationship, as she should. Then we see Millie tells Greg mom that she raised a great man and that Greg takes accountability as a grown man. So Sophia and Greg mom said, after she got done talking to Greg's mom, we see everybody saying they goodbyes. They hug it out, and they say they goodbyes, and they walk Millie, sister out, Sophia, and mom out. And now it's time for Chris and Sandia check in with Tyranda. She asks how they doing. Sandia says she's getting the hang of it. Hang it up, girl. Don't get the hang of it. Hang it up. Sandia says, she then says, Chris and Joanna gets along more than this is what she's telling Tyranda. She's just like, look, I'm just gonna say it. She tells her that Chris and Joanna gets along more than the others in the house, and everyone thinks that they have a connection. Tyranda asks Chris, do he think him and Joanna have a connection? He says no. Chris says that he's trying to get to know Sandia now that they're in person, but he sees her mood changes, especially that the girls are in her ear, and he ain't got time for all of that. This is what he said. I ain't got time for all that. So Sandia says when she tries to communicate with Chris, he always says, "Why we gotta talk about this?" Chris then says, uh, he doesn't think Sandia's feelings are valid. Tyranda had to correct him. Please get him correct, ma'am. She tells him her feelings are valid. So are your feelings are valid. He says he doesn't believe that. What are you talking about, sir? He says, so you can come up to me and say, "Oh, I feel you are cheating on me." I'm not cheating on you. No, Tyranda tells him there's a difference between feelings and actions. Do you not know the two, sir? The two. Do you not know the difference between the two? Feelings, I feel like you're doing something, and you actually doing those things are two different things. He says he's not the type of guy that continues to keep talking about the same thing. He says he will ignore you if you keep asking. He will ignore you. Tyrana asked them if if they could choose one thing they could work on, would they both say communication? Chris says no. Chris does not care about Sandia's feelings. And Sandia needs to pack it up and head out. Deuces. Pack it up and head out, Sandia. He don't give a damn about your feelings. Sandia tells him he don't make her she tells him, "Don't make me feel inferior to you." He tells her that's just her insecurities. So now he got Sandia crying. Tyranda asks, do they think they're compatible? Because she like, y'all clashing right now. He says some mess about they have the best chemistry in the house, and he's not the type to jump ahead. He wants to see consistency. He says he likes this. He's like this because of past relationships. Sir, do you not think those are insecurities as well? You need to go work on that before getting in a relationship. You don't trust women. Those are insecurities. He then says that Sandia is the kind of girl and they have the same values because they're both Haitian. He says he loves, which is that's what he loves, that they are Haitian, and feels like they can have a long term he can have a long term relationship with her. Well, Chris, you treat her like shit, and she needs to run right away. Don't walk, run. Tyranda asks Sandia how does she feel about what Chris is saying. She feels that she do see a future with Chris. Girl, no you don't. Tyranda then tells them they have a relationship coach there. Chris said he don't need a coach. Sir, yes you do. He is the type of guy that's set in his ways. This is how I feel. and how watching him. He's set in his ways, and he's not willing to compromise with anything. And that's a problem in a relationship. A relationship, the best relationship is communication and compromising. If you can't do those two, there's no relationship. Sandia says that she will go see the coach. Then Chris said he'll go only if she want to go. No, no, sir. You sit right there. You need to see a therapist by yourself, sir. Sit right there. Let me talk to this coach by myself. Tyrana tells them to think about it, be patient with each other, and work on each other's needs. She had a tight lip on Chris, like, listen, work on those needs. Like she tells Chris they both have to take each other's feelings into consideration, which is true. So now they're back at the house. Joanna asked Chris how did things go with Mama T. He says that people need to mind their business and he doesn't have time for weak-minded people. He's talking about Sandia. After he just said she's the type of girl that he can be in a long-term relationship. You just call this girl weak-minded. You disrespecting her. And putting her down like she just said. You put people down. So Diamond chimes in saying no one is in your business. And that, Sandia, she confides in people in the house. He like, I'm not trying to argue with you. Diamond like, no, these are facts. Here go Joanna. These are lies. Diamond like, everyone sees how she's tugging on you. Joanna like, I'm tugging on a man now. Joanna like, I'm tired of y'all keeping my name in y'all mouth and y'all are capping. So Diamond like, oh, so everybody quiet now. Because imagine everybody was talking about, oh, I see the interaction between Joanna and Chris. So everybody quiet now. Now that she in the room, y'all scared. Aaron J asks Diamond why she feel the need to bring this up when they're cooking dinner and not pull Joanna to another room to talk about it. Joanna said because MFers love sabotaging. So now Diamond and her Aaron is talking about the situation, and Diamond feels like everyone who has something to say about Chris and Joanna left her hanging. Aaron said he felt like she had it and he didn't need to back her up. Yeah, Aaron, you dropped the ball on this one because you were the main one talking about and going around asking people what they think about Jody and Aaron's relationship and how you think how you think she likes Chris. You dropped the ball on Diamond. You know what I'm saying? You were sitting there just sitting there looking and letting her talk about herself. Like you should have had her back. Even though she should have minded her business, but you still should have had her back. You left her hanging. So Diamond, Aaron, Shay, and Josh goes to the Boom Boom Room to eat dinner. They didn't want to be around the drama. They didn't want to be around the drama because I guess they don't like Joanna. So Joanna, you see Joanna telling them like she should care, but she really don't care about what people think. Joanna at this moment she looks kind of tired. She's tired, and she should just go home. You know. So Chris, he basically this whole thing. Chris basically blamed Sienna for making everyone influence the way she feels, and she should trust him. No, she shouldn't. She got her own eyes. She see what's going on, but you're not listening to her. Why should she trust you? Sandy is the type of person that's not going to bring it up, to you Probably be, and let somebody else bring it up to her. That's why she said, like, you know what? Let me talk to him first. But no, she shouldn't just trust you. Okay, and that was the end of episode 4 of Never Ever Mets. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments of this episode. Thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a good day. Thank you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.